I'm live. Who else is on here? Oh, just me. Oh, well. Oh, someone else just popped in. That's good. And we have about a minute and 15 seconds before we go live on the air. Oh, more people popping in. Just remember, if you're coming in on YouTube, if you have an account, make sure you say something in the chat to let us know you're here and who you are. Trying to do FT8 tonight, and lots of signals out there, tons of signals out there, but only made like 2 contacts in half an hour. So it looks like the conditions are good, but I'm just not getting out tonight for some reason. Guess that's the joys of being on radio. And we are at T-minus 30 seconds and counting. Hey, Joe. Glad to have you online. We had a great time over at Farney's house. Oh my goodness, you should see that antenna that he was telling us about last night. That's 500 and some feet long. I thought it was going to be like looped in a square or something. It's direct, long, one long shot. He's got a huge property, and he's got a tower on the far end that he connects it to. Amazing. I took a lot of pictures. He's got a full wave 160 meter dipole antenna up there. Oh. Good evening, everybody. This is Laird, VE3LKS, and welcome to another COVID-19 Rag Chew. We're now into week 15. This is a Monday night edition, and this is also going to be our final week since the COVID-19 restrictions are loosening up a bit and we can get out a bit more. We've decided to call it quits as of Wednesday, but so for the next couple evenings, we'll still keep at it. And so at this time, let me just get my spreadsheet all queued up here, and I am now ready to take check-ins.
VA3, Romeo, Tango, Victor.
Victor X3, Whiskey, Juliet. Victor Alpha 3, Delta, Charlie Echo. Victor Echo 3, Victor Golf, Juliet.
VA3, BTQ.
Victor Alpha 3, Alpha, Golf. 3, Cedo, Wheeler. Victor Echo 3, Charlie, Romeo, Uniform. Victor Alpha 3, IGX.
VA3, KJI.
Okay, let me tell you what I have so far, and I know there's going to be some that were doubles that I didn't pick up. So let me see. VA3 RTV Jeffrey, VE3 PWJ Peter, VA3 DCE Doug, VE3 VGJ Joe. Let's see if I can skip him for a 6th night. VA3 BTQ Jackie, VA3 AG Aldo, VE3 CWR Gerard, VE3 CRU Bill, VE3 IGX Cam, and VA3 KJI Grant. And as I say, I'm quite sure there's probably a few more, so I'll just hang up the mic and listen for more calls.
VA3, Golf, Delta, Zulu, Gary, calling in.
Okay, very good. I copy Gary, VA3 GDZ, and welcome, Gary. Now, we're going to have to do something real quick when it gets down to your turn to boost your audio up on the phone. But it's simple. We've all had to play around with ours too when we first started using the phone. So we'll be more than happy to take a few seconds and get that audio boosted up. And just so everyone knows, Gary is one of our YouTube guys. We all knew him as Gary Z, but now he is Gary VA3 GDZ. And welcome to the ham radio community, Gary. And Gary's also our newest member this afternoon. He sent a transfer and a membership form, and he's now a member of the North Shore Amateur Radio Club, even though he's a bit away. But at least until he can find a club closer to him and get settled in, he's decided he wants to join this group of ragtag operators. So welcome, Gary. And with that, we will go back to the very top to Jeffrey, VA3RTV. And Jeffrey, I'll let you fill the assembled masses into what we were doing late this afternoon.
Yes, good evening, Laird, and everybody online. Actually, Laird, myself, and Lois, and Peter, and Diane, and Bob, HAX, we've all just surprised Barney by pulling into his driveway and sending Morse code via our horns to alert him that we're there to celebrate his birthday. So with a little gift and a balloon and a card and a very interesting tour of his antennas. Barney is really quite someone, and we had a lovely time, and we've all just got back. So with that, back to you, Led.
Okay, very good, Jeffrey. Yeah, it was a real fun time. I think we caught him off guard there, and had a nice chat with him and his wife Nancy. And yes, I think maybe once restrictions lift a bit more, we'll have to ask Barney if we can come and do a tour of the antenna farm there for more people to see, because it really is impressive. It's hard to describe. When he's talking last night of a 500 and 30-foot antenna that he has, I'm envisioning this, being sort of, taking different twists and turns and being more like almost like a loop than anything else. Not with Farney. It's just it's just a straight shot. He has a tower set up on the far end of his property, and it connects from his house to his, I think his existing tower, and then way over to the other tower on the far end, and it's just a one long piece of straight wire, and it's amazing. It's a full wavelength on 160 meters, so that's just nuts. Anyways, it was quite the fun time. VE3PWJ Peter, maybe you want to expand on that too.
First of all, congratulations, Gary, on getting that ticket. It's a bit of a job, but you know what? You've got the license now, and that's great. And we did have a good time, and boy, Barney is always interesting to listen to. He can come up with more stories in 5 minutes than any person I've ever seen. He's just a great guy. Well, I've known Barney for a long time, and it's just great to go down there. And I think we'll have to do that, Laird, exactly that. Get a little tour down there with the club. I'm sure he would love that, us to be there. And I think we could try and do that. That'd be great. So go ahead and get some more beans, and we'll talk to you a little further down there. It was a fun day for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I couldn't make it for the ice cream afterwards. Normally I would have, but had to get home and have a bit more nutritional for supper before I came down here. So I hope you guys had a good time doing that. VE3VGJ Joe.
Good evening, Laird, and everybody on frequency. Yes, thank you for not missing me there, and congratulations there, Gary, on getting your ticket. And great joining our club there. That's it's a good group of people there. And yes, you guys talking about Barney's place. Yes, that's quite fascinating. I've driven by his place a number of times, didn't realize his property went that deep. And yeah, that would be something if you could set up a little tour of the antenna farm he's got there. Other than that, not much else to report on. It's also a sad thing here, but I've already started packing a few boxes with some gears to take up north this weekend. And and just looking at what I'm going to do there for field day. Back to you.
Excellent, Joe. Excellent. Field day is going to be, field day is always fun, but it's really going to be fun this year. The main thing for me is I won't have to be outside where my allergies will kill me. And I don't know. It's just, I think it's because it's so unique this year. Finally got my software all figured out. So now when I log something, when I'm doing FT8 and it logs with WSJT, and then it also logs with JT Alert, it also then puts it into log on the N3 JFP software. So I'm golden. I was playing with that last night and finally conquered it. I wasn't going to let it defeat me. Let's see. VA3 BTQ Jackie.
Hello, Laird, and everybody online. I haven't much to add except a happy birthday to Barney and a congratulations to Gary. I know how tedious that probably was, and it's well earned. Take care. Over.
Okay, Jackie, I know we've only been doing this for 15 weeks now, but I need a scamp report.
Okay, Scamp is passed out in the door where he's getting some fresh air. We went for a little walk today, and he plodded along beside me very obediently, so I was quite proud of him. Over.
Okay, very good. And for those who don't know Jackie, a little walk is probably just a half marathon today. So very good, and glad he was following along in proper order there. Let's see, VA3AG Eldo.
Good evening, Laird, and everyone on the repeater. And welcome, Gary. Nice to hear you. And Laird, do you have any information on that 528-foot antenna? How's it fed? Is it in an inverted L fashion, et cetera, et cetera?
Okay, well, I did take some pictures, which I plan to put in the next newsletter. But basically, it looks like Farney's ham shack is upstairs, and just outside the window, he actually feeds the antenna right into his tuner in his shack. So it goes through the sill of the window, into his shack, into his tuner. It comes out and it's being supported by an insulator. And then from there, it runs the 500 and some feet down to the tower. I think he also has another tower which is right next to his house, which is amazing in itself. It's a 3-leg tower that he himself built, and this thing I think is probably about 7 feet. Each side is about 7 feet at the base at least, and it's got a ladder going up to a crow's nest, so you can go up on top to the crow's nest and stand there quite comfortably and work on the antennas that are up there. But yeah, and then so from that insulator, it just goes straight over to the tower that's on the far end of his property. I hope that answers your question, Eldo.
Yeah, it does. Okay. Interesting to find out. No, there wouldn't be a ballon at the end of that or in the tuner. But anyway, sounds like quite a setup there. And something that I could probably use in my little backyard here in Curtis. Actually, I would have to take a few backyards. But if I could swing that would probably be nice. It would probably be really, really good. Anyway, yeah, nice to have some property where you could do that kind of stuff. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, CRU, you're sounding much better there with your signal and audio-wise. You're sounding really nice, really good. And, at this end anyway, you're sounding pretty good. Back to you there, Laird. Have you 3AG?
Okay, very good, Aldo. Yeah, apparently his antenna is grounded at the far end as well as at through his tuner. I didn't understand it totally, but guys like Bob and Jeffrey were just lapping up this information, and they can probably explain it a bit more. Let's see, VE3CWR, Gerard.
Yeah, okay, Laird. Good evening, everybody, and congratulations to our newest ham there. And I was just going to ask you how he got rid of the static buildup, but I think he just told me there. Long wire antenna is that long. You were talking about lightning there one night. Well, if you have a long wire, that long, it's going to build up a lot of static from the atmosphere. Anyway, I can't keep it too long. I got to get upstairs. There's a glass of wine waiting up for me up there. We're 57 years today to the same woman. So anyway, I better get up and not leave her out in the cold. Catch you guys tomorrow night. Just wanted to give you a bean count there, Larry.
Oh, very good, Gerard. Well, thank you for the bean count, but more importantly, congratulations on the 57 years. You'll have to give your wife all the credit, because I'm not sure whether we could have put up with you for that long, but she must be a real trooper.
Say that again.
Yeah, we probably all have spouses like that. Very good, Gerard. Well, congratulations. That's a great milestone. And by all means, we'll call you on the second round just in case you happen to come back down. But we'll understand totally if you're not. So happy 57th. And maybe next year at this time, we'll be wishing you happy 58th. Let's see. VE3, CRU Bill.
First of all, to Aldo, the reason I sound different, I'm using a different setup. I have two different rigs I use. One in the house is we're putting about 100 watts into a 4-element beam, which would be about 20 feet above the ground. And in the vehicle, I was using a 4-element beam on the roof, aiming generally towards the repeater. But today, I'm using my 817, which I've been using before in the vehicle, with the rubber ducky on it. And I'm using it inside the vehicle, not outside the vehicle. So 6.5 watts, that is a better rubber ducky than you get on your usual little 8G, because it is a 6-meter, and 6 meters in it, as well as 144 and 432. So, getting back to other goodies, when you put in a state and put a lot of good in, oftentimes you find things that everybody else behind because nobody knew what to do with it. And sometimes one specific person, maybe in a club, maybe not in a club, who might be the only person who can connect with it. And I think in your club, that person might be the ATRTV. So I've been looking and digging, and I found that with the ATRTV that a bit of tar on its face. And another thing that's in my garage, it's got a from my father-in-law's car. It's with Jackie. I let Jackie puzzle over what it might be, but maybe she'll identify it, maybe she won't. But it's to do with something she's keenly interested in. So other than that, Bob Bell, he has some planning goodies for him too. But who knows what might make the for somebody else. So
Well, hold up. Back to that. The
Okay, well, that was a bit noisy, Bill. I'm not sure what Elda was talking about, but that was awfully noisy. I think we heard most of it, but there was a lot of frying going on in there. Maybe you can improve it for the next time around. And it's been brought to my attention that the good net operator that I am, I have missed someone already, and so I will go back up to Doug, BA3 DCE. Congratulate him on being the chosen one to be missed this evening, and let him have a shot at talking.
Why, thank you, Laird. You confirmed that you definitely have a mean streak in you. I never realized it for sure. Now I know for sure. Anyway, I forgot something last night, but I had to be reminded of what it was I forgot. My memory and my forgetting thing are very closely connected, and they get confused often. And I had a good day yesterday. It just didn't include last night's meeting. Back to you, Laird.
Oh, yeah, it's too bad you missed it, Doug. But it was a fun get together. We did have, just so people know what we're talking about, we had our club meeting last night, and we used the Zoom meeting, and everything went well. Joe and Bob, that's Joe VE3 VGJ, who I haven't missed yet tonight, and Bob VE3 HIX, who's not on here yet tonight. Both had excellent presentations. Bob had one on near vertical incidence system, I think it is. Basically shooting your signal straight up and coming almost straight back down so that you can make short range contacts on HF. And Joe had a really good presentation on end-fed dipoles based on the one that he's building. So if you missed it, well, you missed a great evening. It was fun. Let's see. Who else can I miss tonight? Cam, VE3 IGX.
Good evening, Laird, and everyone on frequency. And a happy birthday to Vernie, and congratulations to Gary. I didn't do too much today. I got my golf game in early this morning, and then had to wait in the house for Rogers to come with a new modem. So I got that installed, because I'm having a little bit problem with it on her phone and the internet. So that's all cleared up now, so we'll give it on back to you. VE3 LKS, VE3 IGX.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, you're going to need that internet for this weekend, that's for sure. Operating field day, because we're all going to be wanting to message back and forth to each other how we're doing. And we'll have to figure out who all's operating, because you know what, I know a lot of guys are interested, but I'm not sure who all is actually committed and is going to be doing it. So we may have to do a little bit of a doodle poll or something and find out. VA3 KJI Grant, good evening.
Hey there, Laird, and everyone on net. Not much to add. Fantastic weekend weather-wise. Holy smokes, a bit too hot for me. But I did manage to get out in the boat, spend a lot of time swimming and stuff, so that was great. And actually got first flight in my model airplane of the year, unscathed. Like they say, any landing you can walk away from is a good one. 3 flights this weekend, so all in all, a pretty good weekend. Back to you, sir.
Okay, very good. Well, glad you're able to get up to the camp and make good use of all the investments that you have up there. And I'm glad this COVID thing has opened up. I know several people are in the same boat you were, and it's nice to see when they can get out and actually use what they've invested in. It's nice. And now down to the star of the evening, VA3 GDZ Gary. But before you key up, Gary, I just want to step you through on how you can increase your mic volume just a bit. So on your phone, let me know if you got your phone up. Well, you probably do. What I want you to do is I want you to click on where it says accounts. And then when you get into the accounts, you're going to see the one that we're here on North Shore. So just tap that. and it's going to come to another screen. It's going to say protocol, host name, whatever. Scroll down near the bottom of that, and you're going to have a transmit level. That may be set quite a bit over to the left. Let's try moving it about maybe a quarter to a third of the way over from the left. So it's not quite halfway, but it's maybe a quarter or a third of the way across. And then let's have you give a transmission.
Okay, thanks, Laird. I'm actually on a laptop right now with IAX RPT. I have cranked up the microphone. Is it coming in okay now? There is a little boost button if necessary. Back to you.
No, Gary, that's perfect. So take it away.
Okay, I want to thank you all for your kind welcome tonight to the hobby. I've always been a bit too busy, but this 3 months off with this COVID nonsense gave me the chance to study up and finally get my license, and looking forward to connecting with a lot of interesting people. It's actually kind of neat to be able to talk to you all rather than just type in puns on the YouTube chat there. Kind of had a bit of fun with that. I'm getting in on All-Star right now, as you can imagine, from our cottage in Halliburton. Kind of lousy internet up here. I hope it's coming through okay. We're going to be going back and forth over the summer, but it sure has been a nice couple days. I'm sure I'll have a bunch of questions and comments to share with you guys. And I did give Laird some feedback on why I felt it was good to stay connected with this group, and maybe I'll share my comments to Laird with you guys on the next round. So I'll give it back to you now, Laird. Victor Alpha 3, Golf Delta Zulu.
Okay, very good, Gary. And yeah, it's nice that you can use something like a phone and the technology to get into the repeater. I know Joe has a cottage up near Bancroft, and I'm not sure whether there's, he may have more information on maybe repeaters up in that area, and the ones that may have All-Star. So maybe when Joe's turn comes around next time, if I don't skip him, he would be, maybe he can give us an update on that. We've reached the bottom of the list for the first go around, but let me just take a short standby and see if there's anybody waiting in the wings that would like to jump in this evening. This is Laird, VE3LKS.
VE3 IRB.
The Candy Store Boy.
VE3 MSN Toronto.
Okay, I copy Robert, VE3 IRB, and I believe it was VE3 MSZ, as in Zulu. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. It is VE3, like Victor Echo 3, Mike Sugar Sugar. Back to you, over.
Okay, very good. Mike Sugar Sugar. The handle here is Laird, and my call is VE3LKS. If you don't mind, what's your handle there?
My handle is Mike Alpha Romeo, India Uniform Sugar. I'll repeat. Mike Alpha Romeo, India Uniform Sugar. You copy, over.
Okay, very good, Marius. Well, we just have one ahead of you here, Robert, and we'll let him take the mic for a minute, and then we'll get down to you. And welcome to the COVID-19 Rag Chew. We're now in week 15 and the Monday night edition, but welcome to our get together. Robert, VE3IRB. I know you were heading over to the candy store in Toronto today. Maybe you want to let us know what kind of goodies you were able to sneak out of there with.
VE3 IRB. Well, I did
did not get too much. I got a couple things, and I stopped at Siel Electronics as well and got a couple things. Just nothing really spectacular. I was up in Toronto. I just wanted to say hi to Gary. I heard him calling CQ before Laird spoke in there, but I was in traffic and the signal was a wee bit quiet where I was, and I didn't want to try to figure it out while I was driving, but he sounded great, very professional. The level was a wee bit low at the time, but that was partly due to the fact that I was sort of at the limit of the range. Back to you.
Okay, very good, Robert. And yeah, I know I saw you stop on the way home. You stopped right near a what I thought was the the restore, but maybe that's where Sale is too. I've never been to Sale, so maybe on the next go around you can fill me in. And now we're down to Marius, VE3 MSS, and welcome to the group, Marius. Very informal. Tonight we've been sort of excited because Gary, VA3 GDZ, just got his license, and he's been listening to us quite a bit over the last 15 weeks that we've been in doing this COVID-19 rag chew. And we also had another fellow, Farney, VE3 BHQ, who's celebrating his 94th birthday. So a bunch of us went out and surprised him today. Anyways, welcome to the group, Marius, and take it away.
I thank you very much for your divine salutations. I'm 74 years of age. I've been residing only on the second floor with an indoor antenna, pushing out only 40 watts through a diamond antenna made for this radio. And I'm using a A2 FT991 Alpha. So there's not much else I can do. I'm basically recovering from a stroke that I sustained from about over 5 years ago. And I'm still having some problems, but they're minor in comparison. Back to the control. Over.
Okay, very good, Marius. It's good that you have a good, positive attitude about that. I know sometimes health issues can get us down quite easily, but it's good to have the positive outlook. And we are going to be only doing this particular rag chew 2 more evenings, so tomorrow and Wednesday. But you're more than welcome to join us. After that, we're going to be going back to our regular schedule, which is every Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock. So you're more than welcome to write that down in your calendar. And every Tuesday evening, we'd be more than happy to have you join us. And as I say, it's an informal rag chew. We try to make it more than just, the call sign and your signal report. We usually try to have a topic of discussion and or a free-for-all where you can ask questions or talk about anything. And it's more informal and laid back. So again, glad you could join us. And with that being said, I'll just take one more call for check-ins before I head back up to the top of the list. This is Laird, VE3 LKS. Okay, very good. So we'll head back up to Jeffrey, VA3 RTV, and maybe you can explain to Aldo about that antenna, because I was nodding my head in agreement, but it was one of those things where I just didn't want to look stupid.
Yeah, thank you, Laird, and just a couple of things here. First of all, I would also like to congratulate Gary and Marius. Welcome, and looking forward to you joining us again. And I'd like to just let Jackie know that that the ice cream that was drinkable yesterday is now back to ice cream, and together with the strawberries that you left here, I've just finished them up, and that was delicious. Thank you, Jackie. As far as the antenna goes, Barney had very carefully calculated the length so that it would resonate on all the common frequencies, but it's mainly, of course, it does the 160, and he's got it grounded at that far tower, and he's got quite an explanation as to how it works and its advantages and what have you. But as you say, Laird, it is amazing to see that piece of wire disappear on the horizon to a tower that is so far away, and it's a full wave on 160. So very impressive, and I just love listening to Varney because he's just a wealth of knowledge. I think it was the women that were saying, I think it's time to go, but I think the fellas there were not quite ready to leave that soon. But in any case, I really enjoyed that time up there. And with that, back to you, Les. Thank you.
Yeah, we really need to sit down sometime and record him telling these stories, because there's a wealth of information between those two ears of his. And I know one of my favorite stories is when he first got into ham radio. He was actually a pirate for a while and didn't even realize it. He had built a radio and was transmitting from, I think, the city transit in Toronto while he was going to university. And then he got notified that what he was doing probably wasn't legal. Of course, he didn't realize it, but he rectified that situation, and the rest is history. But yeah, that was, people like that, you could just sit there all afternoon, a big pitcher of lemonade, maybe some cookies, some strawberries, and just sit there and have a great time. VE3 PWJ Peter.
There's an idea, Larry. Maybe we can do that with Barney. Try to video a few sessions with him. I think that would be a nice thing in the club to have that, his archives as well. Because, that's all it, the information he's got is just priceless. So I think we should do something if we possibly could, Larry. Over to you.
Yeah, and there's something about video that's even better than writing it down, because you capture the the twinkle in his eye, the smile on his face, the tone of his voice, the excitement in his voice. That just doesn't cut it when you're putting it on paper. And if we could capture it on video, that'd be awesome. So maybe we should ask him sometime if that's possible, and start getting some of these documented, because they truly are entertaining, and it's a part of the hobby that let's face it, very few of us even recognize, and so it's going to be lost pretty soon. Anyways, VA3 DCE Doug, I won't forget you this time, buddy.
Well, thank you, Laird. You can officially add my bean to the pot this time around. That tour of Barney's, that sounds amazing. And something, if you ever do that again for the club as an outing, let me know. That'd be interesting. That definitely. I don't know much about the antennas themselves, but the construction like that's amazing. I don't know how he does it. Anyway, nothing else to say here. It's been a great day and a busy day and a warm day, and I'm counting on tomorrow being just like it. Back to you, Laird, VA3DCE.
Yeah, well, it really is interesting when he points, way off in the distance, and he says, "Yeah, that's a tower that is connected to," and you can barely see the tower. That's how small it looks on the horizon, and it's still on his property. And then he's got an R9, and that's probably for us here in town. That's probably about 6 or 7 doors down the street from us, and. It was funny because he says, "Yeah, it's just junk." He says, he'll never buy another one. Anyways, let's see. VE3 VGJ.
Yes, definitely. If something ever happens, it'd be interesting to see Barney's place there if a tour is ever put together. I remember him telling a story about out sailing. I think it was in Lake Ontario, and they got into a lightning storm, and they were experiencing St. Elmo's fire off of the cables. That would really have been something to experience. And if Gary's listening there, Gary, if you want to Google Central Ontario Amateur Radio Club, that's again Central Ontario Amateur Radio Club, and they have a bunch of repeaters in your area. There's one in Halliburton, Bancroft, and they're all linked together. They've linked a number of them together. You get right down to Lindsay, also Ballantree, and also the other one is the Blackfly VE3 TBF, VE3 the Blackfly, and it's at 147.240. And if you're interested, they're in that area now as well, and they have a Sunday morning net about 11 o'clock. Back to you there, Larry.
Okay, very good, Joe. I knew you were the go-to guy for up in that area, so glad you were able to share that information, and hopefully Gary got that. If not, we can make arrangements to get it to him. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention about Farney's antenna system. There's just so much to talk about, but the beam antennas that he has, one of the guys asked me, he says, what model of antenna is that? That beam. And he just got a big grin on his face, and he says, it's homebrew. The guy built his own beam antennas. Unbelievable. Anyways, let's see. VA3 BTQ Jackie.
Hi, Laird and everybody. Jeffrey, I'm glad that the ice cream finally made ice cream and not real cream. Hope you enjoy. I just wanted to say that if anybody is going out to Farney's antenna farm, I would love to be included, and so I can actually learn about some of these things. And other than that, I haven't got much to say. Over.
Okay, yes. It sounds like Farney would have a whole crowd out there. Maybe, I hate to put you on the spot, Peter, but you seem to talk with Farney a bit more than some of the rest of us. Would you mind dropping that little bug in his ear? Now, we won't do it right away because we still have this COVID-19 thing going on. But if we ever get to the point where, the regs are loosened up enough and he feels comfortable enough having people over, if he would mind doing that, we could, do it on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon on a weekend, and the club would supply all the refreshments and everything. And it would just be just an informal get-together, and not for long, maybe just an hour or so, but it would be well worth it. So if you don't mind dropping that bug in his ear, would you?
I'd be more than happy to do that, Laird. I'll probably see Farney tomorrow, too, because we're going to Costco, and I think they have an order that's heading down to Metcalfe Street in Newcastle, so I will certainly have a wee chat about that and see how receptive he is. I'm pretty sure he'll be more than happy to do that, because you know what Barney's like. He likes to show the stuff that he's got, and he has stuff and then some. So I will certainly get happy to do that for you, Laird. Over to you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Peter. And yes, I can just see the twinkle in his eye now and that grin. Oh, man. Okay, VA3AG. Uh-oh. Okay, although didn't hear much on that go around, just a bit of noise. No, sorry, my friend. Just static. I don't know if you were trying to send it to us in Morse code with static, but nothing was coming through. I'll tell you what. I'll go on and take a few more check-ins, and then I'll come back to you. Let's see. VE3CWR Gerard. I know you said you're going to be enjoying a glass of wine, toasting your wife. Just checking to see if you did by chance come back. Okay, nothing heard. Bill, VE3CRU, and hopefully a bit stronger signal this time.
the E3LKS and group assembled. The E3CRU had now got the whip up against the window of the vehicle. It was sitting down resting on the steering wheel before, so hopefully that's making the difference for you. But anyway, I'm happy to hear that you're calling it quits on Wednesday. As they say, that I kind of felt that we needed to move on. You've got field day coming up. You've got other stuff coming up. So I'll let you get to it. Want to make sure everybody's busy. So as far as anything else is concerned for the net, I really don't have it. As I say, it's cooling off. I'm sitting in the car here and it's cooling off. But I wish we were seeing the rain. Anyway, I won't hold it any longer. VE3CA.
Very good, Bill. Yes, I'll agree with you on the rain, man. I've got about 110 gallons worth of rain barrels out beside my house, and they're bone dry. I used the last of it last night, and so I'm hoping beyond hope that we get some rain. But we almost live in sort of a desert type area. Areas all around us will get rain and snow, and it seems to pass over us or around us. So I'm hoping that's takes a turn for the worst tonight, and that we just get dumped on, because I need my water levels restored. VE3IGX, Cam.
Okay, on that tour for Barney's, I would also be interested in that. And I don't have anything else. So I'll say 73 to everybody on the frequency, and I'll be monitoring till the end. VE3LKS, VE3IGX.
Okay, excellent, Cam. And yeah, it's what modes are you going to operate on field day, just out of curiosity?
I'm hoping to try the CW, single sideband, and the FT8.
Okay, perfect. That'll make two of us on FT8. And the good thing about FT8 and CW is each contact's worth 2 points. Theoretically, CW can make a lot more points because they can make a contact a lot quicker. But it'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. This will be my first time using FT8 for field day. VA3 GDZ Gary, and I hope that information Joe provided was good for you. And if you need a radio and an antenna for the time being, we may be able to scrape one together.
Okay, thanks, Laird, and thanks, Joe. I'll probably want to get in touch with you separately later on as I spend more time up here. We tend to do that in the summer and then head back to town for the winter, although the skiing here is pretty good too. I did want to mention too that the video calls, the Zoom calls have been great, and particularly when Farney gave his little talk last night, I thought that was really like listening to history. Anyways, I thought I'd try to mention quickly the strategic advantages that I think your club offers. I'll just mention them briefly here. I mentioned 4 items to Laird. The first was that I felt he was kind of unique by streaming on YouTube. He's got to have a lot of courage to do this, because you have no idea who the heck might be watching or listening in. And if you try looking for others on YouTube, there's almost nobody that I could find that does this. So that's kind of unique to be able to do that and to chat. And Laird did try to involve those who are on the chat in the discussion. It was great. The second thing is your 7 o'clock time. This is great because it doesn't interfere with, you have dinner first and you can get on with other activities, like other nets that I've seen online or listened to. They start at like 8 or 8:30 and it really takes up your whole evening. The third point I mentioned was that the whole club is extremely welcoming and knowledgeable. The website was good too. It's very helpful. It enabled me to get on tonight on All-Star pretty easy, actually. And the last thing was sort of the nail in the coffin that convinced me to join was when Laird said that, a RAG 2 should be more than just giving your call sign. something that really turned me off. It was when people just give call signs and no traffic. And I mean, even if you have only a few minutes, you can say something of interest. I know it's common to talk about ham equipment, but you know, we're going through a recovery from COVID. There's weather like bad storms and things. And even just having a topic of the day really adds to the interest of the call. So I hope this feedback is encouraging for all of you, and I'll turn it back to you, Laird. BA3 Golf Delta Zulu.
Okay, very good, Gary. Yes, and this whole COVID thing has been quite interesting to say the least. And you know, I gotta give a big shout out to all the operators that come in on a regular basis and make it that way, because you know, it's one thing to sit here and try to run a net, but it's not very interesting if you don't have anyone to chat with. So it's always been fun having all the operators come in, and you know, people give us ideas for the topics and stuff like that. Although, if they had their way, it'd be food every night and maybe a bit of radio thrown in. But yes, I do appreciate your comments, Gary, and I think, as I mentioned in my return email to you, we were just sort of flying by the seat of our pants when we started this, because we had no idea how long it was going to go for. We thought maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then it went to a month, and well, now we're on week 15. Self-explanatory there, and yeah, the YouTube was just something I did just for giggles one night, and then the next night when I didn't do it, people started saying, "Well, where is it?" So yes, and it was fun. It was fun seeing the comments, I must admit. It was hard to keep up with them some nights because they were just flying by so quickly. But I'm just going to drop it here. The last thing you need is a controller timing out the repeater. Yes, so it was just sort of on a whim, and it seemed to take off from there. But it was fun seeing all the comments online too, and I'm glad we piqued your curiosity, Gary, and I'm glad you're an amateur radio operator now. So maybe it was meant to be. And we do appreciate your wit. Some of this stuff online was just hysterical, and now we get to experience it verbally, so that'll be awesome. And yeah, any questions you have for the group, I'm sure there'll be more guys will be more than happy to help answer those questions, and can't wait to hear you come in on the radio from the cottage maybe some night. Let's see, VE3 IRB Robert.
First, congratulations to Gerard on his anniversary. That really shows commitment and shows class. And Farney, yeah, commitment and class, that's him too. One correction, you said his tower is 3-sided. I believe I've been out there, it's 4-sided, I think. It's actually an old windmill that he hauled down behind a tractor from miles and miles away, and made into an antenna, repurposed it. I could be wrong there, but that's my understanding, and I would be game to go out there anytime. Anyways, nothing really to add at this point. I'll throw it back to you.
Okay, very good, Bob. Well, let's see. I'm not that I want to. I'm not trying to do one-upsmanship here or anything. But Jeffrey, was it 3 or 4-sided?
Okay, it is definitely a 3-sided, and it is very, very homemade. It's actually quite flimsy, but what he's done, he's taken wire like the thickness of a coat hanger and twisted it and bolted it from side to side in crisscross to kind of give it some rigidness. Even the ladder that you use is very, very small, very narrow, and very thin gauge steel. The whole thing is actually, I think, quite light weight, considering what he's got on top. The antenna is huge, and he does admit that the antenna is so big and heavy that the rotor system that he's got on there is just not adequate, and it keeps giving him problems, shearing bearings and bolts and what have you. So yeah, it's quite the thing, but it's definitely three-sided for sure, and it's definitely homemade. With that, back to you, Led.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I thought I was quite sure it was 3 too. Now the crow's nest is 4-sided, and and there's another dimension, Robert. You climb up this tiny ladder, and then you're in a crow's nest, and so when you're working on an antenna, you're standing almost on solid ground, because you're up on a platform, and with railing, and yeah, he's. The mind that went into that is just crazy. But it does look like an old windmill tower, and that's what I thought it was too. I didn't realize it was homemade until he told us tonight. I had always thought it was a windmill tower myself as well. So, yeah, the man's got a lot of engineering there. And he also has a 2-meter outfit, a 2-meter radio station that he'd like to get rid of. Mind you, it does put out 500 watts, and he says he'd be very careful about who he gives it to because he doesn't want someone to kill themselves. That's how potent this thing is, and it's on a 6-foot computer rack basically, and it's all homebrew stuff. So if anybody's interested in 2 meters and wants something that would be very vintage, you may want to consider that. Marius, VE3 MSS. Your turn once again, sir.
V3VHQ.
Okay, I acknowledge Farney in there. We'll add you to the list here, Farney. And just going to see if Marius is still with us. VE3 MSS. Okay, nothing heard. So, Farney, your ears must have been ringing because the fellows that came out to your place this evening have been nothing but singing your praises the whole evening, and in total admiration of your setup, that's for sure. Anyways, good evening, Farney, and happy 94th.
Good evening, everybody, and sorry I'm a bit late, but I got here when I was able. And with regard to the tower, I did not make the tower. I just made the superstructure and all the workings on the top of it. The tower was a standard windmill tower.
Oh, it was?
And
okay.
I picked it up on a farm east of Fort Perry. And took a wagon up, tractor and wagon up there, and hired a crane, and the guy lifted it and put it on the wagon, and I brought it home one Sunday morning, and then I built all the superstructure afterwards.
Okay, very good, Farney. I misunderstood then, and which isn't out of the realm of possibilities, that's for sure. But yeah, it's a very interesting setup. And that crow's nest, now was that something that was part of the windmill, or was that something that you added on?
Which were you referring to?
The tower that's right next to your house. When you climb up the ladder, you go into like a crow's nest, where and I'm just wondering, was that part of the windmill then, or was that something that you added onto it?
No, I added all that platform on the top and the railing and the whole works. I just got the straight tower and the windmill head on the top of it.
Okay, very good. Well, as I say, a very impressive setup. I don't know how long you've been on here, but we were telling the guys that you were showing us the 160 meter full wave antenna, and that you would point off in the distance at a tower, and we sort of had to look and look and look. Oh, there's the tower. We thought that was like, someone else's backyard over there.
No, that's right. It's guide, and three guys, or actually there's 6 guys on it. There's 3 cables on it halfway up, and 3 cables from the top. And then, as I mentioned, the top is bent over a little bit so it clears the tower, and then there's a big pulley there, and it's not. Let's see now. I forget. I think it's a nylon rope. At any rate, at the bottom end, there's a chunk of cement block hanging on it to keep it taut, and in the wintertime I shove that up a few rungs to take the weight off it for any ice. I've had it come down a couple of times with ice, but nothing recently.
Okay, very good. Well, I'll tell you what, Farney, I'm just going to take a quick standby here and see if any of the other guys have any questions for you. This is Laird, VE3LKS, and if anybody has any questions on for Farney, please go ahead.
VE3IRB. Yeah, I was pretty sure it was a windmill. I was obviously wrong on the tower having the 4 legs. I guess I was looking up at the crow's nest, but it is an incredible work. I'm just curious, the length of that wire, 160 meters. I guess it's not a heavy wire, but it did take a lot of tension to give that tension to keep up that distance without having a big sag in the middle, or?
No, there's not much sag in the middle. It's fairly flat, and if I recall correctly, the wire is number 12 stranded, and I went for the stranded wire because it's a little bit more flexible, gives a bit more yield to it. But otherwise, not with the length, approximately 520 feet, but the last 65 feet are vertical. So that's how it works out. The overall length works out okay, and it does very well on 160.
Thanks. That was going to be my next question, whether it was a stranded wire for that distance. I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, Roger, a stranded wire.
Okay, Robert, so are you thinking about running one from your place over to the water tower?
The water tower's gone now at O'Neill. I'd have to run it over to your house.
Okay, very good. Does anybody else have any questions or comments for Farney? Okay, nothing heard. Listen, I'm just going to take one last call for check-ins here. So if anyone's sitting on the side that wants to jump into the rag chew this evening, now's your opportunity. This is Laird VE3LKS.
Victor Alpha 3, Bravo Golf Foxtrot.
Okay, I acknowledge Victor Alpha 3, Bravo Golf Foxtrot. Oh, I know who it is. I can't think of your first name. This is terrible. but you helped me with Hamfest a few years ago. Doug, it's Doug. I think it's Doug. Is that you, Doug?
Very correct. Absolutely right on the money. I'm sorry about the side noise. My printer decided that it's time to cycle. Anyways, yes, it's been a while since I've been on air, and I turned my radio on a little while ago, and I happened to trip over your net, and I thought I gotta check in. It'll be the first time I've checked into any net for a very long time.
Oh, Doug, it's too bad you didn't turn that radio on about 15 weeks ago. We started this, we call it the COVID-19 Rag Chew, and we've been doing it every weeknight, so Monday to Friday at 7 o'clock. Unfortunately, this week's going to be our last week. We're only going to do it up until Wednesday night, just because the government's relaxing on the restrictions, so we can get out and be a bit more sociable face to face. But we're going to be on here again tomorrow and Wednesday night, and then we'll return with just our weekly Rag Chew on Tuesday nights. So make sure you mark that down in your calendar, and we'd love to have you join us.
Well, thank you very much for the invite. I will definitely try to be online or available. It starts at, 7 o'clock, did you say?
Yeah, we start at 7 o'clock, and so this week it'll be tonight, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then going forward it'll just be every Tuesday again. So every Tuesday at 7 o'clock, and it's an informal net. We usually try to have a topic of the evening and just have a good little round table. Just to give you an idea, like today we have 16 people on the round table today, so everyone gets a couple of kicks at the cat. We go around a couple times, and people can ask questions, make comments, and it's just a fun, sociable get together.
Well, it's been very interesting and informative listening for the last little while, and I thank all contributors for everything that's been provided. It's been very interesting and a worthwhile listen, and I'm hoping that I'm able to log in the future.
Oh, for sure, Doug. We'd love to have you join us, and always welcome on the Rag Chew, that's for sure. And with that, let me see. I'm going to check the YouTube, because I've been remiss in my duties as the Rag Chew controller tonight. Oh, yeah, by the way, we also stream it on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and put in my call sign, which is Victor Echo 3 Lima Kilowatt Sierra, you will see a face that is definitely made for radio, talking from his shack to everybody. Let me see. Bill, VA3WBZ. He'd like to point out that he was on battery power working 40 meters. Oh, that's cool. Really cool. So you'll be able to do that for field day then too, hopefully, Bill. And let's see, Gary Zed. Oh, they're having a little conversation. Yep, no problem there, Gary. And yeah, so very good. So with that, we've gone through twice. So at this point, I will take a pause here and see if anybody has any further questions or comments on anything that was said or mentioned. And if so, please come now.
VA3WBZ.
VA3WBZ. Good evening, William.
Good evening, Laird. I just made it out to the car here. I'm using mobile there to get talk to you guys rather than on the other radio. I have my Icon 7000, what I usually use in the house as a base. I have it set up in the garage, and I have an antenna that I by 40 meter, the mag mounts, and I stick it on the roof of the car. And at that point, what I did on the weekend, I moved everything out under the tree in front of the house. Took my car battery, I had a spare one, and hooked up the battery to it, and I was running on battery powers for 40 meter and 80 meter. Not bad my first week on HF, I think. Just want to go and show that I could do this to myself, that I could run in the emergency situation, I could run a radio station in the wilderness if I had to and all that without any power and all that. So I think I did pretty good. Got the antenna all tuned up on 40 and 80. And I haven't had much activity, but made a contact with Roberto in Italy. A couple contacts down in the States and that. I've been doing pretty good. Anyway, I'll pass it back to you, Laird. I know you want to get off the air and go home now, or actually get off the air and do what you have to do afterwards. So, VA3 WBZ. Pass it back to you, Laird.
Okay, very good, William. I like how you said you've only made a few contacts. Yeah, Roberto in Italy. That's pretty good considering you're just using a ham stick on the roof of your vehicle there. So that's awesome. And yeah, it's always fun when something works, isn't it? You're always leery. Is this hooked up correctly? Is this hooked up correctly? Is this going to work? And then when you actually turn it on and you start talking and, your SWR is okay and you actually hear people. And when they start talking back to you, that just sends you over the moon. So glad to hear everything's working well, William. And is that what you plan on using this weekend during field day?
Yes, Saturday afternoon I'll have the radio on the little bench out there with the battery, and I'll keep the car about 40 feet away from it, 35, 40 feet. And I will be transmitting like that as if I were in the field somewhere. I have a picture of it too, but I don't know how to go and post it on YouTube for you guys now. But kind of neat with the radio set up and all that stuff. Really pleased with it anyway. And one more thing too, I went sailing on Saturday morning with my daughter out on the Lake Ontario. They're out of the Bronte Marina. There for about 4 hours, nice lazy sail around the lake and all that. Very nice and relaxing. Even managed to get a little nap when we were out there in the waves. Not bad. Okay, Laird, back to you, VA3 WBZ.
Oh, it sounds like fun, Gary. Next time you can take a radio with you and sort of put a little inverted V up on that mast and, make some contacts. Hi. People do it. And yeah, it sounds good. Sounds like you're going to have a fun time working field day. If you're on Facebook, the club has a Facebook page too. I think it's North Shore. Oh, I always get this messed up. Robert, VE3IRB. What's the name of our Facebook page? Is it North Shore Amateur Radio Club? I think it's something slightly different.
I believe if you just do a search for VE3OSH, it comes up.
Okay, very good. Yeah, so Gary, if you're on, William, I got too many people on my mind tonight. If you're on Facebook, just look up VE3OSH, and we have a Facebook page, and you're more than, once you join the group, you can post pictures there.
I'm not on Facebook. I got off there quite a few years ago. I found that it's just too public, and I didn't appreciate that, so I got off of it. Haven't been back on since then, probably 6 or 7 years now, I guess.
Okay, very good. Yeah, that'll be a problem then. But I don't think you can post pictures on YouTube as such. I could be wrong. I know you can do videos in that, but we'll figure out some way. And worst case scenario, you can email them to me, and I can maybe I'll do up a special edition of the bulletin after field day. And you know what? You're a genius. You're a genius, William. Because I think what I'll do is your great suggestion. I'm going to add a section to the next newsletter of everyone's operating station during field day. So you can email me pictures of your setup and we'll include it in our newsletter.
That's the Roger. That's VA3 LKS, I think it is, or something like that, at yahoo.com.
Yes, Victor Echo 3 Lima Kilowatt Sierra at yahoo.ca. Not yahoo.com, yahoo.ca. I actually do have both the call signs, VE3 and VA3, but my email is VE3LKS at yahoo.ca.
Okay, I'll email it to you. You can post it. This is pretty cool anyway. I'm quite happy with it. Okay, Laird, I'll get back to you then. I'm going to be clear from here. Thanks for doing it on that day. I appreciate it, taking a late call.
Oh, not a problem. Glad to have you with us, William. And with that, is there anybody else that has any questions or comments before we close down for the evening?
RTV.
Go ahead, Jeffrey.
Yeah, thanks, Laird. I want to thank you very much, Laird, for doing this. You've been doing a great job. I know it's kind of coming to an end, but just want to let you know how much I appreciate it. And I just wanted to I really like your comments, Gary, that you gave us. That was very much appreciated. And Gerard, your anniversary, that's wow, that's quite something. Congratulations. And welcome, Doug. And with that, I wish everybody a very pleasant evening. All the very best, VA3RTV.
Okay, thank you, Jeffrey. And anybody else with questions or comments? Okay, nothing heard. So I'm going to say 73 to everybody. And just want to acknowledge a few guys again. Definitely Gary, VA3 GDZ, our newest ham radio member. And congratulations on getting your license. Marius, I don't know if he's back, but thanks for joining in with us this evening, Marius, VE3 MSS. And Doug, VE3 BGF. Don't be a stranger, man. Always enjoy hearing from you. And man, I remember all those days way back long ago when we used to talk about IT stuff all the time. Oh, scary. Anyways, 73, everybody, and wish you a good evening, and looking forward to chat again tomorrow night. VE3 LKS, and I'll be clear.
I'd just like to thank the guys that came in this afternoon. I appreciated it very much. The 3BHQ clear.
Okay, very good, Farney. Yes, we had a great time doing that too, and thank you for being so hospitable and showing us around the grounds. And Peter's going to be talking to you tomorrow about something as well, a couple things. So yes, it was a lot of fun, and it was nice seeing you and Nancy. 73 is Farney, and we'll talk to you again. Maybe we'll get you to twist your arm to get you on the next two nights too, as we finish up the COVID-19 Rag Chew on Wednesday night, and then we'll just go back to our regular schedule of weekly nets. This is VE3 LKS, and I'll be clear.